to go live when we
I know,
started
we
doing
should have
all
went
that
live
good
earlier.
stuff.
Gold, and you haven't been
We
live
are.
this whole
We're
time?
weaving
All right.
gold. Welcome, everybody. This is the pre-show brought to you by spinwithcomics.com, but don't take my word for it. spinwithcomics.com, also on iOS and Android. It's literally free comics, y'all.
Can't beat free comics.
What else is there to say? Go there, check them out. All kinds of creators, all kinds of comics, all kinds of awesome. spinwithcomics.com. And yeah, we're going to hang out for a little bit while we do this. Oh, David finally decided to show up. We're already live.
Oh, hey,
I was about to say,
David.
David
What's
broke
up,
his
man?
attendance streak.
Hello.
For coming by.
I
in
like
this-
that he waited until we were recording in the pre-show,
Yeah.
like, officially in the show.
He's
before
like,
he
oh, they
showed up.
went live. I better click the button.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So yeah, we'll talk about what we're going to do on the show in a minute, but we were talking about movies, how basically we've come to the conclusion that around the time when Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer came out, that was like the end of an era.
Yeah, that was
And
the
You
end of
had
the
your old
pre-MCU era.
Spider-Man and yeah.
Well,
So-
the reason why that's the end, that just coincidentally was like the last big one to come out before Iron Man. Iron
Yeah.
Man's the real like milestone movie here.
Yeah.
That as much as I have fondness for like the old Tim Burton Batman movies or the old Christopher Reeve Superman movies or the old
Definitely.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, they are very distinctly of a bygone era at this point.
Agreed.
Well,
Oh, definitely.
I would argue that the
Do it.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies kind of were the start of a transition period from that era where we
Sure,
had
yeah, when
I think they
Okay,
were.
okay,
we
yeah.
had, where we had
They were
like
definitely sort of a
the
template
Donner
for the MCU a
Superman
little bit.
and the Burton's Batman.
I guess it would be more accurate to say that the Tim Burton and Christopher Reeve Superman movies were really their own thing, and then we had another era in between, which was like your Hugh Jackman X-Men and your Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
your Blade.
Sure, yeah.
Blade.
And that era
Blade
was
was fucking
ushered
awesome, man.
out.
I love Blade.
Essentially, that era
Yeah.
was ushered out by the MCU.
Yes, that definitely was.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do some stuff on the show today. And this is the part where we're
I'm glad we're doing stuff on the show. I'm glad we're doing nothing. Not
Really
doing
changing
nothing.
up our
the whole time.
formula here, then.
Stuff
I
on
don't
the
have much
show.
news. The news I do have food news, and we could
I
talk
have a
about.
couple things of news,
Oh,
but
good.
I'm sure one of my news bits is the one that everybody has, though.
Well,
Oh,
I don't
well-
have any news.
Well,
Well,
I
it
have
sounds like you've
X-Men
called
news.
dibs on it, so go ahead.
I have X-Men news. That's it.
are we going to talk about like if we supported any small businesses for Black Friday?
No.
I mean, you can if you want.
I mean, if that's
mean-
what you want to talk about, my answer would be no. I did not.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like TKO had a sale going,
Well,
which
that's
is
not
pretty
a-
good.
Local small business.
It's not local,
They're
but
like
it's a small
Portland.
business.
I have a lot of Reign of X. I can get into detail of that. That's like what's coming up next with
Oh yeah,
X-Men.
That's
Maybe
good.
we should talk about that after.
Reign of
that an
10?
event, or
Final
is that
10 of
is
Swords.
that just the name
That
of
would
the
serve
line? Like
as-
Dawn
Yes, that's the name of the line, just like it was
Yeah.
Dawn of X.
Okay.
That would
Now
serve as a
As
fitting
long as it's not like
capstone for
event.
when we're talking about Ten of Swords this week, since it's this last week for Ten of Swords.
Thank you, Taylor. I agree 100%. But I do have some Mando is in the food news. Mandalorian.
Mando's
So
in the
do we want to
food
talk about
news.
Mando? Because I got some Rosario.
This was a
Dawson.
pretty heavy
Oh,
week,
please.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
All
love
right,
you
we'll
some
talk
Rosario
about-
Dawson.
Yeah.
I love her showing up in all of my
She's
my
amazing.
Geek franchises. You
She's
know,
amazing. I was talking earlier. I watched Men in Black. I've been on a Men in Black tear, and she's in
The second
one
one.
of those movies.
yeah,
yes.
the second one. Yeah,
But yeah, no moment of destruction this week. Sorry, Snake
No.
guys.
it's okay.
Well,
Ten of
they-
Swords is X-Men, Excalibur, and Destruction. I got a lot on that.
Oh, I do
Holy
too, man.
crap. And then our top three with some craziness in my top three, man. I don't know if you guys read those books, but let's talk about what we're doing later. We do have a Gremlins Geekterion collection coming up. That's got to be closer to Christmas. You know, we'll have to give that.
Oh,
a week or
definitely.
so.
It's got to
Oh,
be like a week or
It's
two
after
before
if
it.
after Thanksgiving, so you are fully authorized.
No,
to go
I don't know
Christmas
about
mode.
that. I would like it to be a little
Well,
closer.
I mean,
It's got to be a little bit
The
closer. because-
trees are up and the houses are getting decorated. You have
tomorrow's the last
authorization.
day of
Christmas
November,
movie.
so we're
Yeah.
pretty much full on Christmas mode.
and
now,
we do
I
need
guess.
to do that top five. I need to
Someday.
someday.
One day.
Someday my top five will come.
And I did do the Rocky 4, just getting together with the old Comic Cast guys.
Yeah, how was that?
With
How'd
Ryan
that
Grant.
go?
It was very
I
fun.
watched a little bit of that.
It was really fun.
I love me some Rocky 4.
I got drunk. We watched Rocky 4 and talked shit. Riley Grant
Nicola
came
can't
with
beat that.
dope knowledge.
You can kind of divide up the Rocky movies into like serious Rocky movies and
Oh,
goofy
yeah.
Rocky movies.
And
Rocky
and
4 is
Rocky
probably
4
the
is the king of the cheesy
yes.
Rocky movies.
Rocky 4 is
Dude,
the greatest.
He
of
ended the
goofy
Cold
Rockies.
War. Come on,
He
I think we're
totally
taking a
did.
little bit away from one man's indiscernible speech at the end of a fake movie. Dude, Riley Grant, he's a comic book writer, great guy. Find him on social media. He's amazing.
He wrote
He
Banjax.
hung out with us while we did it, and he brought the knowledge. 39% of Rocky 4 is actually like new footage. Like 60% of it is just montage.
Really?
Yeah,
Like reuse footage from
reuse
old movies.
montage footage and other
That's
things. Like,
awesome. That
I was
is
like,
that is
what?
American movie making.
yes,
And
at
That is
its
somebody
best.
with a lot of skill on the editing floor.
At its
Yep.
best. So yeah, there
Godzilla
you go.
editors would be,
Well, I mean, yeah, genuinely, the fact that most people, it doesn't occur to them when they watch that, sign of a well-made montage sequence.
Hearts on fire, man. Hearts on
Gonna
fire.
take
Hey,
a
man, Vince Zacola.
montage.
he's
Yeah.
covering up that montage.
Even
sequence
Rocky
the
had
whole
a
time, keeping you
montage.
entertained.
Awesome. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do on the show, man. I hope you guys brought news because I didn't bring any news, but awesome. This has been the pre-show, the live pre-show brought to you by Spinwiz Comics. Let's do the actual show. You guys want to do a show?
Why not?
That's how I feel about tonight, anyway. Hey, Gomer, do you want to do the podcast?
No!
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Glad I could.
I wonder if Steve
Like
Carell
that.
improvised that on the set.
Dude, so much of that stuff is improvised. There is a podcast with actresses from the show, Angela and Pam. I don't remember their real names. But they do a show called Office Ladies, and it's dope. It's inside of every episode. There's also one for Starship Voyager, hosted by Tom Paris and Ensign Kim. That is also dope.
That's like a
Really?
dream actor's job in the sense that like they can coast on having been on that show for the rest of their
They've been doing it in conventions
yeah,
forever.
Good for them. I mean, they do other stuff. I know, like
That's
they
like
show-
Mario Lopez just writing out that AC Slater.
Oh, he's back at that too. I haven't
okay,
watched that. crap,
that's the exact position you want to be in. You can do other stuff all you want, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But I mean, isn't that also being typecast? Like, I didn't. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
greetings,
Yeah,
geeks.
sure, but-
Welcome back to another episode of this Geek in Comics Outright Geekeries Comic Book Shit Talk Show.
Shit Talk Show.
I am your co-host Gomer.
Shit talk show.
I'm Gomer.
That's
With
a
me
little
as
late,
always,
but whatever.
Adam Normal, Taylor, and AK David hanging out. All four
Hello.
wheels together. How was y'all's holiday? Happy Thanksgiving. Good.
It was
It was
Very,
pretty good, man. It
very
was
small.
very small,
Yeah.
very quiet. Didn't really have any family in.
It was just
So-
me and my immediate family, really. So
Yeah. It was just the
Perfect.
people I live with, and my oldest, my 19-year-old, actually cooked all of Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, that's right.
Nice.
He's
How was
got a
it?
gift. He's got a
Was
gift
it
in the
pretty good?
kitchen. It was delicious. It
Oh,
was
that's
awesome.
great.
His mashed
It was
potatoes were
a-
lumpy, just
awesome.
like I like them.
I mean, he's got to be better than Gomer, right?
I'm terrible. I'm a good baker. I bake well. That's
He's a
just
baker.
science,
He
though.
bakes the
I've never
cake.
eaten
You're gonna
anything
say
that-
he loves to bake.
Yeah, like
Once
I've
he
never eaten
discovers
anything that
his
you've made, but I have to
behavior.
assume you're bad at it.
No, I'm actually an okay at baking.
Okay.
So you're
I
really
don't
good
do
at
it very
following
often, but
directions.
I'm really good at it.
This was the first time I'd seen my brother in nearly 2 months.
Oh,
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, and him and his wife had gotten COVID, so it was nice
Mhm.
to see them.
Oh, it
Nice.
sounds like they're out of the woods, though.
Yeah, this was like
Glad to
about
hear
a
it.
month and a half ago. So
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
yeah,
Good.
it was a worrisome time, but it was good to see him. They're doing well. My brother still says that he's kind of achy, but other than that, he's in good spirits.
Well, excellent.
I'm glad the worst of it's passed.
I've never felt better in my life.
You're the worst, Gomer.
Do we want to talk about anything else in segment 1? Anything else you fellas been up to that's been awesome?
Most of
David bought
it's Thanksgiving for me, so yeah.
Yeah, man. David, you buy anything? Do you want to talk about that
I
now?
took,
instead of
I
news, instead of
did
wasting our time in
take
the news
advantage of some Black Friday deals. TKO had a actually it's still going on. Sell 25% off
I think
of their
TKO
books.
sticker right here. That's my
Yeah,
TKO.
TKO sticker.
They're great.
So I picked up that new series to pull, and I got an older series. I think it was the Ferocious Dr. Fang.
Weird.
So
You don't have Sentient?
I have Sentient. I already had
Oh.
Sentient. And I have Sarah.
Sentient's amazing. Sarah's
And-
good, but
yes.
Sentient is amazing.
Sentient is great.
It's Jeff Lemire.
Yes.
Jeff Lemire's always great.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Jeff
Eli's
Lemire's one
stopping
of those
by.
guys where, like, even when it's not his best, even when it's not his A game, it's better than
Yeah.
most writers' A game. You know.
Yeah. E-Dub stopping by from over there at the Comic Book Bullies. Check them out right here.
Hi,
on
Eli.
RQ3. Hey, E-Dub. He cooked Italian food like a mug for his whole family can. That's awesome, dude. One of the best Thanksgiving I ever had was my Aunt Mary Jane, who's like first generation American. Her parents were right off the boat from Italy. She cooked Thanksgiving dinner, and it was 3 huge tables in her living room. One table had cold salads, like, your typical salad and pasta salads. One was all hot dishes, and one was desserts. And she cooked for like a week and a half,
That's like
building up to it.
a buffet
wow.
line.
It was so
Basically,
good,
yeah,
dude.
that's what it sounds like.
Oh, it was so good. Anyway, awesome. Thanks for stopping by, E-Dub. Let's do the show. Let's do news. Oh, I should just delete that.
Damn it.
This lasts forever. I need to cut that too. Anyway, how's it going? News time. I don't have any news except for Mandalorian. Grogu is here. Nope, that's the wrong Grogu.
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 That's his name now. That's his
Yeah,
name.
That's his name now.
his
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
It's
is.
It
I know
totally
it
is.
actually. Damn it, David. I
But
know
is
it
that
actually
really the
is.
news, or is the news that Ashoka showed up?
Ahsoka showed up.
Well, I mean, the
Okay.
countdown kind of started a few episodes ago, right?
yeah.
With their
When,
white
as soon as
lightsaber.
Bo-Katan would like name dropped her, you knew it wouldn't take that long for him to actually meet up with her.
Yeah. now
And
we
they
have
did
Thrawn
not
to look
waste
forward
any
to.
time getting to that. This episode.
Dude. Her lightsabers are white, actually, because she got some kyber crystals and purified them.
Well, her
You're right.
lightsabers were white in Rebels too, so these.
But that's why they're white.
That's
Yeah.
why they're white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the comparison. Here's the comparison shot. I mean, I don't know why we're being quiet about it. It is stunning.
It is
And
great.
this is why people love this show, man. That's why
Good
people
stuff.
dig this
Definitely.
show.
I mean, Ahsoka in Star Wars canon is like one of the few people that did go toe to toe with Vader. And well, due to some trickery, she still managed to survive.
Well, still, dude, it's just cool that they're bringing in canon.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Well, like
everywhere.
this season so far has really been heavy on the cameos. We had Boba Fett popping in at the end of the first.
He'll be
episode.
back.
Oh,
He'll be
hell,
he'll
we had
totally do
Anakin.
that.
Yeah,
Right
we had
now, it
Anakin's
seems like this
fucking
season is
pod
doing
racer
nothing.
in the first episode.
It
So
seems like
dope,
this season is
so
doing
dope.
nothing but planting seeds for like spin-off series. Is all it's
Maybe.
doing.
Man, I think
But
we'll
see,
get.
like, okay,
and-
so they've been leaning on the cameos this season, but they've all been really well done. Like Bo-Katan's
have been.
episode was really rad.
Yes.
This episode with Ahsoka was really rad. They're all being handled well. It doesn't feel like they're just shoehorning them in just to be like, "Hey, look, kids, it's your favorite."
Oh yeah, but that name drop at the end of this episode, that was
Yeah, they
pretty
name
awesome,
dropped
too.
Thrawn at the
Yep.
end of this,
Yep.
and oh my gosh,
Gotta bring
That
Thrawn
one,
in
I
there.
see. We knew Ahsoka was coming,
yeah.
and you knew eventually they were going to give Baby Yoda a name. But Thrawn came out of nowhere, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and
I
then
didn't
Michael
know-
Bean was in this
yeah.
episode.
I love me some Michael Bean.
I think
Totally.
I think
Total
they're
legend.
following. I think they're kind of following the formula of the first trilogy, where we got like Vader as the bad guy in New Hope, and then we get told that there's a guy above Vader in Empire, and so I kind of think that Gideon is Vader and Thrawn is the Emperor in this.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this level here.
maybe.
Sure.
Mhm.
That's not just a
Mhm.
Star Wars thing specifically, though. Like a lot of stories, like roll out that way, where, like on TV tropes, they call it the dragon, which is like the minion who's like the chief lieutenant who is the one who's doing most of the shit with the good guys. And often they end up kind of eclipsing the big bad in terms of audience engagement, kind of like Azula in Avatar or Vader himself. More people think of
Would it
Vader
be
before they ever
Sauron
think
and
of Palpatine.
Saruman maybe a little bit there?
To some extent, yeah, sure.
Great point, all.
Yeah, this was a really rad episode.
It's a rad episode. Dude, the Carl Weathers episode before that was dope.
Yeah.
it had Carl Weathers in it.
There's not a single episode of Mandalorian the whole time through where I'm like, man, what a crummy episode.
I
But this
did
one
when it was
still
like
is
only 30 minutes. When it only says like 31 minutes, I'm like, oh man, I want a longer episode.
Man, I have to wait another week.
Yo, if that's your biggest gripe.
But yeah,
Yeah, let's
with
show it
Mandalorian,
again.
like the peaks are really high and the valleys are still relatively high,
Yeah, exactly. I love how he's like doing like what I would do if I was playing his adventure. Just do all the side missions first.
Yeah.
No. All right. Do we want to do food news because it's Star Wars related?
Well,
and I can get it
okay,
the hell
well,
out
no,
of the
I'm
way?
going to stick with Star Wars real quick with the
Oh,
real
good,
news.
good.
So the real news for other Star Wars is David Prowse. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Prowse.
Yeah.
Prowse,
Mhm.
maybe. He died. He played Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He was 85. He died from prostate cancer. So
Yeah, rest in peace.
He was-
That's
Yep.
I
terrible
actually
loss.
did meet him at one time at a convention.
nice. It's not about you, David.
No, but he was a very nice man until
I'm sure he is. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about anybody from Star Wars in terms of fandom, like when they meet them. I mean, Mark Hamill can be kind of a dick on Twitter, but I don't think that's the same thing.
But Mark Hamill being a dick on Twitter is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. I love him when he's an asshole on Twitter.
He's usually an asshole to the right people, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's just spin off into food news, and then we can get back into other news if you guys have it. Does anyone else have any news?
I do have one other thing of news.
It's not Star Wars, though. They
It's
have
not
these
Star
now.
Wars. I did see
Oh,
those. Yeah.
maybe Yoda's cookies.
They have Mando macaroons, inspired by a sweet moment when a young student debated sharing his treats with the child. 21st century artisans in California have created these ethereal French-style almond macarons, capturing the essence of this scene. $50 for 12 of them.
Wow.
That's robbery
That's a really
right there.
That is
pretentious
crazy.
description for like, hey, we made some green cookies.
Yeah, we made some bluish green cookies. That
Yeah, we added some food coloring to it.
yeah.
Those
Oh,
look
wow.
neat.
That
I'd
is
be
cute
interested
as
in.
fuck, though, bro. Are you
I'd be
kidding me?
interested in trying them, but not for $50 for like one fucking sleeve of them.
Yeah, it's not Scotch. Macaroons are delicious,
Yeah.
and I don't think it matters what brand you get. I've never had a bad one. But dude, that's cute as hell. Are you kidding me? Look at that.
Oh,
shit.
sure, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
it's so
my
cute, but it's not $50 cute.
I
Oh,
love
the
it.
chicken
no, it's not
nuggets.
$50. Oh, by the way, they're sold out.
I bet they are.
They
Oh, it's not like we can't. It's not like Gomer couldn't bake some.
Oh, you're right. I was just talking about that.
I bet you
I'll
can
have
get some
some
off of
ready next
eBay for
week.
like $100.
Yeah, that's on the Williams Sonoma site. They are sold out. Awesome. Go ahead with your one last. bit of news. Cookies are
Yeah.
delicious. I
So
love
apparently,
cookies.
Godzilla versus King Kong is coming to streaming. Apparently,
Ooh.
Netflix offered $200 million for it, but I guess they didn't want to do that, so they're going to put it on HBO Max. Is the rumor? So yeah,
And the
Yay.
owners of it own HBO Max.
yes,
So it's
So
kinda
it
like,
makes
it's almost
sense.
as though they'd rather take a write-off
right.
than sell it for less than what they're going to. You know what I mean? 200 million.
They probably
pretty
would have
damn
made
good.
way less
for
than
people to
200
come to
million. if
their
they released
streaming
it at the
service and
show.
go to somebody else's streaming service. You know?
Yeah. I'm just
Like-
saying, I don't think that movie is a big draw for HBO Max. I'm just saying.
Oh, it is for
I mean-
me. I'm
Oh,
following
yeah.
that
I
movie
have
forever.
HBO Max. I know I'm going to watch the damn thing.
I definitely
I
think it's
can't
going to be
wait.
rad as hell, but yeah, 200 million is really short selling what it probably would have made at box office.
Oh, without a
Probably.
doubt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
how much did King of the Monsters make?
Oh, it
good
made
amount.
600 at least. I mean, domestically, I'm sure it made more than 2.
Speaking
you know.
of, they totally teased Mecha Ghidorah at the end of that one.
Yeah.
Are
cool.
they ever getting around to that one?
Yeah. I think what we
I
have
need to go to Eli's for next Thanksgiving.
Some
Yeah,
people were
man.
really pissed about this announcement because no, this is the kind of movie that you wait to see on the big screen.
I would have rather seen this
I-
on the big screen.
Agreed,
I
100%.
sort of agree that. I
Agreed,
do want to see
100%.
this on the big screen, but at the same time, who knows when that's going to happen?
Exactly. It's hard to tell.
I'm tired of waiting for the damn movie. I'd rather see the movie at this point.
Hopefully, this
Look,
summer
we've been promised.
things should be relatively in the clear.
We'll
We've
see.
been promised Wonder Woman. We've been promised
Still no
Black
Wonder
certainty.
Woman's coming on the 25th. Wonder
Yeah,
Woman's
Wonder
getting
Woman's
everything.
HBO Max on Christmas. Apparently, they're still doing it in theaters. Like I guess at like AMC or whoever else is still open.
Yeah,
But well, good for them.
and theaters are, at least taking precautions. Limited capacity. You got to wear your mask. It's still not the safest place to go. But if you go to a movie and there's only 3 or 4 people in that movie, and you guys can sit on separate ends, to hell with it. Sit and watch the damn.
The tricky thing for the theaters is that it would be probably perfectly safe, or at least relatively, if no one was eating concessions. But concessions is how these theaters make their damn money.
Exactly.
They don't make that much on ticket sales. The overwhelming amount of their profits is from selling popcorn and drinks.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That's a huge, huge problem. Yeah, I'm anxious to see it, and yeah, Wonder Woman is coming on the 25th. So they need to drop Black Widow. I'm sorry, they
totally do.
They just need to do it, man. Disney Plus, say, here you go. It's been a shitty year. Take it. Here you go. Here's your surprise drop. Disney Plus. Thank you. I would love that.
They could even do it premium.
It would be a shame, but
I don't want premium. I just want.
I don't want a premium either, but they could.
This is one of those things where like there's no option they can take where I would be like, yes, this is definitely the way to do it. Like, I'd love to go see it in theaters, but waiting that long does suck.
It's $1 billion movie because it's the MCU. If we're at normal, quote unquote, normal operating, that's $1 billion movie. I don't care how you write it because it's in the MCU.
The movie theaters in particular,
had 3 other movies this year too.
For the movie theaters, though, that might be the only thing they're holding on to hope for, because if they can wait until movie theaters are open again and they drop it in the movies, they're back on track.
Exactly.
Just from that, you know?
But again, with that said, movies are still being made. Movies are still under production now. There's always going to be another MCU movie, especially, after Black Widow.
They've already got, as far as I know, Eternals is pretty much in the can, ready to go at this point. They're like in the editing phase, at least.
It gets to a point where you have such a backlog of movies that are ready to go that you never catch up. You know what I mean? They're going to release 2022. What are we going to get? 8 Marvel movies? I mean, they can't do
apparently,
that. I mean, it's just
I have
weird,
no idea what
dude.
they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to like.
That's like a movie every 6 weeks.
It would be cannibalizing their own sales, and everything else would be junk.
Maybe they'll just like write off the year that we just missed and just do it the volume that they were going to do anyway.
Yeah, I would love to see it on there. All right, no more news. There's no moment of destruction because we're not reading Snake Eyes.
No, we're not. Fuck that.
WB can stream shit because they ain't got all the parks over all the world like Disney. Man, Disney stock just this last week is above where it was before coronavirus hit. So I don't want to hear about that park. That is impressive, but if we talk about the parks, I don't know, man.
Even if Disney was hemorrhaging money right now, they can sustain that loss.
They've laid off a bunch of people too, which
they have,
is a different sort of thing.
They'll come out of this on the other side. There's no need.
Well, they already have.
Yeah,
they already have, and it's just weird to me how all that works. Anyway, let's not get political. Let's go. I really got my money's worth out of that video. All right, it's over. Kiss of Swords is over. It wasn't all we expected, but it is over.
Did the sword get returned to the lake?
X-Men number 15, Hickman and Osrar. We finally see APOC versus Annihilation. That was nice. But as a mutant fights mutant in Otherworld, on Krakoa, mutant also fights mutant as politics get in the way of heroic vigilantism.
Yeah, this issue was really mostly just people talking, with the fighting.
I enjoyed the hell out of the people talking.
That said, Hickman knows how to write people fucking talking.
Yeah.
He knows how to do a talking head issue, and I really enjoyed the hell out of this.
Cyclops' speech before the Quiet Council, that was some good shit.
It was good. It was good, solid X-Men shit. It was X-Men
cool.
shit I've been waiting to happen for a while because they've been kind of like the X-Men team has kind of been off on the side for a while.
This addresses
we
that.
find out that they are effectively disbanded at this point. And a lot of this issue is effectively devoted to Cyclops being the fuck we are, and then riding off into to save the day.
This is from the X-Men are disbanded. This is literally from a book we're going to review in 5 minutes, but we'll get to that. So again, getting into the politics, which is really what this was. The Quiet Council, by the end of everything, is 2 members down because of a decision Jean Grey makes here. And it makes sense. If you go to do some heroic shit and you're going to put your body in harm's way, then you can't be on this council because the political ruling body is more important than your individuality.
Yeah, Sinister was a dick, but he had a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Exodus who made the point. But
no. It was Shaw. My bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was one of them.
Yeah. It was one of the assholes on
It's one of the assholes. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Here's the bigger question. This was inevitable. All right. The mutants are now their own government, their own nation. A nation, by definition, cannot have an unsanctioned vigilante team. They can't. They can't. We can have, the CIA or the NSA, but still they're sanctioned even though they're black ops. That's what X-Force is.
Yeah.
Well, why can't the X-Men be sanctioned?
Because you can't have a sanctioned vigilante team like that.
The points they were making in the thing was basically it's kind of redundant since they have the whole captain structure going on,
and
B, the problem it being X-Men because that does show kind of a favoritism to the old Xavier camp, which in effect is what it's going to be anyway. But whatever.
Yeah. Furthermore, it is suggested by this body that the familiar moniker of the Xavier School should be eliminated. This council sees no need and only potential complications in the continued acceptance and use of the name X-Men as an active term implying agents of mutantdom. That makes sense to me, man. Out with the old,
Mm-hmm.
If the new status quo for the X-Men is this big of a change, this is the next logical move.
Yeah.
So that is away with the old.
That being said, it was still really cool I've been kind of missing the X-Men actually being heroes. For the last year or so, all the stuff with the X-Men
doing something.
All the X-Men books has mostly been a lot of
it's all world building.
Yeah, it's almost been entirely world building. We're being introduced to new threats, new villain teams, and things like that. And we're seeing a lot of the day-to-day political intrigue of the X-Men, both within Krakoa and in the international community. But it was really refreshing to see Cyclops step up and we're going to go do this because that's who we are. And I get why
the right thing to do, and we're going to do it.
That being said, while he was saying it, we know as readers that they're actually winning. They have, in fact,
Cable's all Dad.
Yeah, so Cable kind of Cable was whining a bit too prematurely there because fucking Gorgon stepped in and carried that Krakoan stable.
Yeah,
hell yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He died from a sword through the heart, but it would have been a broken back. Anyway. This is setting up a good rift, I think, in Krakoa. As Cyclops is going to continue to do what he sees fit. And he might even be a little bit more motivated to do that because it's almost a slap in the face of the Quiet Council, who he's disagreed with. But as the Captain Commander, he sort of has to do exactly what they say. I don't know. It's going to be interesting moving forward.
Well, is he the Captain Commander anymore?
He wasn't fired. He wasn't fired.
Are we
the
looking
Quiet
at
Council can be roughly divided into the good guy camp and the bad guy camp, and weirdly enough, Magneto seems like he's in the good guy camp.
He is. He's in the.
He's been around long enough. He's been grandfathered in.
I think that's the autumn.
Are we looking at a mutant civil war on Krakoa?
No.
Oh, definitely. No. From this, no. But a few issues ago, Mystique has already been shown that she's planning the destruction of this whole fucking place because Destiny told her to.
She just wants her wife back, and it's a big problem that Moira is actually causing the end of Krakoa by not doing that instead of working with precogs. But anyway, that's a different story. Excalibur
Oh, real quick,
Yeah.
I guess in X-Men they did have the fight between Apocalypse and Genesis / Annihilation, which you knew Apocalypse was going to win. You just
Yeah. No, that
God damn
happened
it,
in
David.
Destruction.
But,
that wrapped up in Destruction.
no, they had their
Oh,
fight
yeah,
in
but he still
X-Men.
won the duel in X.
He won the duel, and then like she's all
In
like,
Destruction.
"Finish me, Apocalypse!" And he's
No,
like,
he won the
"No."
duel in X-Men, and then she was like, "Well, fuck that," and she put on a
Yeah.
annihilation
Yeah.
helmet.
Yeah.
Arako
And they
officially
resolved
lost
that
the
in
contest in X-Men, but because Annihilation lost, she was like, "Well, fuck this. Let's just go back to Plan A and
Well,
overrun this place."
They
Right.
when Gorgon finished his moves against the White Sword, it was tied, and then
Yeah.
the White Sword hit Gorgon, and then
No,
Arako was
Krakoa
up
was
one.
up by 1 point after Gorgon went on his
so
tirade, and then it was
So it was
tied.
tied.
It was tied at the end of the White
Technically,
Sword.
the mutants
beat
won
Gorgon
when
fight.
they won the duel with Genesis.
Yes, Apocalypse won the entire contest in this issue of X-Men.
So at the end of Destruction, when he's like, "Okay, I give up," that didn't even really matter.
Okay, so the contest was over at the end of this issue in X-Men with Krakoa having won. But
Okay.
Annihilation is like, well, fuck you guys.
Sore
Yes.
loser.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm just not
Annihilation
sure-
like calls in the army, and that's where we pick up with Excalibur.
And
Which
I'm-
really throws me for a loop because, at the end of X-Men, she puts on the helmet, but she doesn't really call the army. And
Yes,
it's really
like-
weird. It's really weird at the beginning of Excalibur because everybody's like in the midst of a huge epic battle, but I didn't really see the battle form at all.
Like,
It's just kind of
You
just
can
kinda
follow
happened
what's
there.
going on, but you're right that
It just
there
kinda
was some
happened
major
there.
developments off panel there.
Yeah. So let's get into Excalibur 15, and we'll get back to
Oh,
all
but
these
last
other
word
questions.
about, I guess, the duel between Apocalypse and Genesis. You knew Apocalypse was going to win, but Genesis really got overhyped here. Like, they were talking the whole time about, like, Genesis, oh gosh, she's so much stronger than Apocalypse. And then Apocalypse just wins.
Yeah, this whole event's
There's,
been
like, nothing
overhyped.
to it. He just
We'll get
wins.
into that.
Well, he got
You know?
stabbed, and then it was kind of like the sword broke, right?
Yeah.
It was a bit dramatic, but I
It was a
tend to agree with
dramatic,
you.
like, way of doing it, but, like,
Yeah.
Apocalypse didn't do any sort of, like, magical cheat move or anything. He just
Oh,
won.
yeah.
You know?
All right,
whatever.
so Excalibur 15, Teeny Howard, Mahmoud Asrar again. It's all out war, just like we had before Saturn 9 decided to have this farce of a tournament. It's basically exactly where we were before Saturn 9 said we're going to do a tournament.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Bay changes sides. Obviously, love will do that to you. Apocalypse kind of wallows, in his decisions. Saturn 9 makes a mosaic out of the shattered pieces of Captain Britain. The
It
last
seemed
stand,
surprised when it made a mosaic of Captain Britain, which is kind
Well,
of weird.
Well, I
she
knew
was
she was
surprised
using
that
those
it made a
pieces.
mosaic of Betsy. She thought it was going to make a mosaic of
Yeah.
Brian Braddock.
yeah,
Right.
that
But
was
it made
the
one
part.
of
Yeah.
Betsy, which is what
Yeah.
surprised her.
The
Betsy's
last
the true
stand.
Captain Britain.
Last stand of the Krakoan champions. Then Jubilee of all people shows up with the priestesses of the green. Their mission is to defend the Starlight Citadel no matter what's going on. So that's what they're doing here against Ament and Annihilation's forces. Jubilee just wants Shogo back, which is another angle here.
That's
It's
weird.
weird.
subplot.
It's just weird. And then they're just surrounded. And then by the end, we see Captain Britain Corps back. I think I have a picture of that.
Oh yeah, I have a soft spot for the Captain Britain.
Me
Corps,
too. If you'll remember, Hickman killed them in the lead up to Secret Wars.
He did.
They discovered that the incursions were happening, and then they just sort of got wiped out.
Where did that happen? Because I don't remember reading it in Hickman's Avengers or anything.
I think it was in one of the tie-ins leading up to
Okay.
the. I don't remember. Oh, you know what? It might have been a flashback in one of the tie-ins. I don't remember, dude. Anyway, I'll have now. You want me to go back and read that? That's like
So they can't even give him a proper death.
it's like 60
If
bucks.
you happen to know, I was just
No,
saying.
yeah, I
if
don't-
you-
I
The
don't-
whole team wiped
I don't
out.
know.
They didn't even get a proper death.
well, it's the
but
Captain Britain Corps, so let's be real.
dude, this is a bunch of weird, awesome Captain Britain Corps, and
It's
they're
all
all
the same person.
and they're all based on Betsy now instead of Brian from all the universes, which
Yep.
is a rad angle. It makes Excalibur so much more fun to pick up. I cannot wait for the next issue of
Excalibur's
Excalibur.
totally is going to be the Otherworld book.
Yeah, it's gonna turn. Oh man, and we're gonna talk about it when we talk about Destruction. There's a lot to go over that's left hanging in Otherworld. Betsy Braddock. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got from there. So Captain Britain Corps is back. There's a monkey. I can't wait. Holy crap. Anyway, and then we're final. X of Swords, pardon me, Kiss of Swords, Destruction #1. Hickman and Howard with Pepe Larraz. So Captain Britain Corps is gone. Gorgon is dead. The White Sword split. Summoner is dead. Death is dead. Solemn is
White Sword
gone.
just like fucked right off, didn't he?
He did. He was like, I'm out of here.
He's like, I came for a fight, not a battle, and I won.
I did my duty. I'm down.
So we get another shot of the Captain Britain Corps in all its glory. I think I have that. No, I have this one.
Yep.
Just love it. And then I don't know. They summon the hordes of
a lot of this epic fighting in it.
It is. It's just a lot of big. The summoners summon all these monsters. And,
Cthulhu shows up at some point.
A Cthulhu monster. A worm from like Dune shows up.
This issue really went ham, and I enjoyed a lot of it.
Me too, man.
It was great. Pepe Larraz, great art, fantastic throughout the whole thing. A lot of great splash pages of just a lot of epic fighting.
So then Cable is somehow being nursed to health by Saturnine. Him and Cyclops speak telepathically that he's on his way, and then he chats with Magic, who teleports the entire Sword space station to Otherworld.
Well, yeah, because Cable he realizes, or he talks to Saturnine, and he realizes he's the fool, and that his real sword isn't his actual sword, but the Sword space station.
Yeah, and she's like, duh, you fool. Literally, I gave you the fool card because you're a dumbass. And this Gwenpool's in here, and so's Dupe.
Is she a mutant? I know Dupe is.
She must be if she's in this.
Okay.
I guess.
Is her mutant power supposed to be like breaking the fourth wall or something?
She's actually from like our universe, I think.
Is she? Okay.
I think
she's weird, dude. She's like a big fan, like a mega fan. I don't know, bro. It's weird.
Gwenpool was a joke character that they're trying to make serious with like mixed results.
Yes. So then there's more fighty.
That being said, I really enjoyed West Coast Avengers back when that was so cool.
Oh yeah, so. I don't mind the Gwenpool book. I've gone back and read the Gwenpool book. A lot more fighty fight, more escalation. Annihilation summons all of the Horde. Cable realizes that he's got to open up that portal with those space demons from earlier.
Oh yeah, I need that.
Cable opens up a portal to Apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean basically.
He opens up the portal to the Deus Ex Machina,
Yeah. And then.
Well, okay, it's more of a Chekhov's gun because, like,
you're right. Okay, you're correct. You are right. It was introduced earlier.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then finally, Apocalypse rips off the mask, puts it on himself, and he ends the whole thing. Basically.
By surrender.
Yep. By surrender. Wins by surrender. Sometimes when you lose, you really win. And
something like that. Saturnine turns the mask into a nice spear or something, or a staff. Whatever it is.
A very Egyptian-looking staff.
I don't know. I didn't get that either. I guess it's so Annihilation as a character is kind of gone.
They needed someone to hit the I win button to end this whole thing, and they let Apocalypse do it by doing that.
Yeah. So the piece is on. So then this is kind of compelling because she ordered
the Lost Temple.
Yeah. She orders like a mutant exchange program.
Basically.
And Apocalypse stays in.
Well, it's kind of like
it's
kind of like in DC, the New Gods,
Oh yeah.
You get Mr. Miracle, you get Orion,
Yeah, and that's
weird. Worked out pretty well because Apocalypse gets to be back with his family, who were just trying to kill him. So that seems a little awkward, but hey, it's
the one boy's still dead. The one boy's still dead. At least
is he?
Oh no, he's not.
We'll talk about it. Hold on, let's get to it because we're still a few pages there as we go like almost panel by panel with this shit. So they go to Dryador, and then Apocalypse chooses as the mutant to go to Krakoa as the entire island of Araco itself, which just so happens to have 2 million mutants on it.
Yeah, and that's what Krakoa wanted out of this the whole time. So, hey, another kind of win-win thing going around here.
So, I mean, just if we're talking diplomatically speaking, the nation of Krakoa just got 2 million more. With probably 30%. Let's say 20% of them are at least, beta level mutants where they can do some serious shit, and you know how smart those Krakoans are.
Just statistically, some of them have to be like bonkers powerful.
Right?
We probably have.
That's it, though. Are they really going to work well together because they're completely different, culture.
I think Rocco, they can't all be soldiers, right?
They can't all be soldiers,
so
but
they're going to enjoy peace.
But there's still a
Yeah.
culture that has lived in a completely other universe for thousands of years.
There
so
are definitely going to be
different.
problems. Solemn is going to be a problem because we know he's still creeping around. There are going to be problems, but I don't think the average citizen is going to be a problem. But the way that looks, just in the international sense of things, if you're America or if you're a world superpower and you're like, whoa, Krakoa's been trouble, but now they just got 2 million more badasses.
Now they double.
Yeah.
We can probably safely assume that like all the champions of Morocco were probably the biggest, strongest ones in the group. And also probably that they're the ones who are actually going to be prominent characters moving forward.
Probably, yeah.
Well, I hope we at least get to meet a few new mutants, you know?
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. I just think we probably should expect to see more of the people we've already seen.
Yeah, probably. All right,
at least comparatively.
There's a newer status quo. The Sword Space Station is now in play. We know we're getting a series spun off into that. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to that, yeah.
X-Men, Deep Space Nine.
Jean and Apocalypse.
That's what this turns into. I am here for it. So.
I'm okay. Dude, The Last Sword, I think Matt Fraction wrote it. It only went like 6 issues before it got canceled. But it was kind of like that. There was also a Captain Marvel run with Alpha Flight that was kind of like Deep Space Nine.
I liked Agent Brand in the introduction of Sword way back in
Empire.
Joss Whedon's.
Yes.
Yeah. Astonishing X-Men run. Yeah. That was a good run. But
and her build up in Empire at the end of Empire was magnificent.
That was a really cool, that was the best reason to get that Aftermath issue was her just dunking on Captain Marvel for why the fuck do we have an international watchdog force if you aren't even going to consult us?
You didn't even text me. You didn't even text me. Yeah, I had to look out I saw it on CNN.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Solemn might be sneaking around. They need to get 2 more people for the Quiet Council. That will be interesting to see who gets filled in there.
Yeah. It's Apocalypse out because he's in Morocco now, and Jean's out because she gave up her seat in order to go to the fight.
To save her kid. Can't blame her at all.
And Nightcrawler wanted to go, but she talked him out of it.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the sole council.
We need to keep our good guy seats occupied.
Well, she said you're the soul of this council, and I mean,
keep
she
that
means
Catholic
that figuratively, but dude, it might be almost like a literal translation because there's no telling what these guys would decide to do if they didn't have that conscience, you know. But anyway,
this Nightcrawler was whatever. We had a big sword fight and no one thought to invite me. That's kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah, that was actually really good.
That's my thing.
So Solemn's sneaking around. The Kingdoms of the Otherworld are still around. The Summoners and the Vescora are now working for Saturnine to tame the Blightspoke. The Blightspoke is where all of the dead realms go, dead universes go. And holy shit, it looks like Death might still be alive and hanging out in Cephalith. He's alive, but I'm sure he ain't well.
Probably not.
It looks like he's the new overlord.
Undead now.
Realm. Yeah.
Undead.
Hey, dude, that's in my notes. Death is now the king of the undead realm. Man, that's dope, man. There's so much potential there from that otherworld thing, dude.
That could be cool.
Red Room still caught by the Mad Jim Jaspers.
Yeah,
they didn't even touch on that in the end. There's a lot of things hanging that we could touch on. Go ahead, Taylor. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that Death was probably the most interesting of these original 4 horsemen.
Well,
so
Storm
it would be cool to see. Well, I'm just saying, the only other one who even got much of a personality to show was War.
Yeah.
And so, it'd be cool to see more of Death moving forward.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Saturnine being this tragic sort of character at the end of this.
Man, I'm not a fan of this entire event being nothing but an excuse for Saturnine to try to get Brian Braddock's dick, and she still fails.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a pretty satisfying ending. I think I'll give the whole crossover a B-. I prefer big events.
The
more
first
than
half,
crossovers.
the first half was fantastic.
That's why I get the B-.
Yeah, it was the second half that really it didn't carry the seriousness that the first half kind of set us up for.
Yeah,
the whole clip show presentation for most of the contest between Krakoa and Arako was
And just what
kind
the
of lame.
contests were, you know.
Yeah, I think it would have been more satisfying if we just had an actual like tournament arc rather than just like, here's an eating contest. Spell the word magic. Oh no, I used a K. You know?
And with that said, there were a lot of ones that were just foolish and silly and stupid, but there were some poignant ones.
Sure, yeah, there was a lot of highlights.
The white sword and Wolverine looking into the mirror.
That was good.
Them getting drunk. The switcheroo, right, where she's like, "Nah, to the death." It's like, well, the summoner died first, so I can almost overlook that as Saturnine just being this sort of. It's almost like a fairy tale character. You know what I mean? Like wizards and fairies and
Saturnine having a bunch of bullshit going on, I guess, was entirely in character for her. So
exactly,
it was just too much bullshit. I wanted it to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
I would have liked that better. I mean, there were definitely some highlights, like Gorgon, like pulling the ultimate comeback was a great moment.
And Saturnine gave him that. You know, that was one of her silly, stupid hooks. So the hooks worked both ways. They were like eye rolling So it was entertaining the whole time. The whole time.
It was entertaining the whole time, but my thing is like we were expecting like half of this cast of characters to die, basically. And how many people did die? I'm not saying that the death count is what's important with the story, but that is kind of what it was sold on, you know?
Sure, Betsy died. Summoner died.
Did she?
We don't know.
Betsy's still around.
I do too. Summoner died.
I even think Summoner's still around too. I think he could show
if he's not, there's other ones around, and we know that because they showed them on panel, and they're identical.
Well, it's not like they can't bring them back, right?
No, you can't bring them back from Otherworld.
Like overall, there was a lot of really cool moments here.
I think Gorgon's like the only one who's really dead.
We were introduced to a lot of
Hellions killed some people off, but if you read the list,
Hellions doesn't even matter. Though.
It doesn't, because Sinister is going to bring them back through his own means. I know he is.
I guess like my final opinion about the issue is like there was a lot of cool moments. We were introduced to a lot of cool characters. Overall, yeah, definitely in the B range. It was really fun, but it does kind of get dragged down by how empty the actual contest felt as we were going through it. At least for the most part,
it felt like it was kind of a bait and switch.
A little.
You're going to get these dope sword battles, but you're not going to get any. But that's all she wrote. The next phase,
honestly, I don't really remember.
Other people didn't need these swords.
Other than Gorgon,
it has nothing to do with swords.
Cypher didn't even bring out his sword. Warlock's there, man. I thought we were going to have a fight.
Cypher didn't end up doing anything. They were talking all about like, oh no, Cypher's so
screwed. He made the biggest sacrifice you could ever make.
Cypher's only contest was getting married.
Yeah, Faye's hot, dude. Faye's super hot.
I guess.
All right, next.
Sorry, Adam, you were saying though.
Oh yeah, you want to go, Adam? Say something.
This whole event was sold on sword fights, and there was like maybe one really good sword fight.
Storm and
the entire issue. Yeah, the entire event.
Yeah, Annihilation and Apoc's fight wasn't even all that great.
No, it was all like kind of off panel while everybody was talking.
Yeah. Wolverine had some moments when he was traveling through different universes, but it was again kind of a silly hook. But what's next? After the Dawn of X is the Reign of X, and this is the promo that they put out. I love that Storm is kind of front and center. I love that we have a Wolverine patch here.
Yep.
I don't know what Emma's holding with the H, but man, I wish I could figure that out.
Hellfire?
I mean, it's not. Is it Hellfire though? It seems so easy to me.
Guess,
it seems so easy to me.
Hellfire, Hellions,
and that's Decken in the front, in the Wolverine outfit, right?
No, that is Laura.
Oh, you're right.
It
is. Sorry.
If you remember, her and a couple of other mutants went into the. Damn, I don't remember the name of it now, but it's like where
they were in that vault. Yeah.
Oh wow, they got Maverick in here.
Where Maverick?
He's like right on the other side of Patch underneath Emma.
Oh yes, that's Maverick.
Oh, and there's Cypher and Bay.
Cypher and Bay. Now let's
look love story.
Now let's look a little bit closer. We do get M up here doing some awesome stuff. I love Monet. If you look over here, there's Legion right there to the left of Emma, hidden in the shadows, dude. Oh, yeah. Shadow King up here in the upper right as well.
And we got Arcade next to him.
Yeah,
and you got Mojo too, right? Is that not Mojo grinning?
That's Shadow King.
That's
Oh
Shadow
yeah, that's
King?
Shadow King. Yeah, Mojo's already been in.
And you got
X
Nimrod.
Factor.
That's
Yeah,
Nimrod between them, yeah.
Yeah, Nimrod's been a thing for a while, so we're not really sure what that's gonna be.
And we see Nightcrawler with a Bible with an X on it. He's starting his own.
He looks really sad over there, kind of a little bit. I don't know.
It's probably him like coming up with like the mutant holy book that he's.
Yes, I
together.
hope it is. I hope it is, dude. And up here, hidden as always, behind the angel wing, that's Mad Jim Jaspers right there, to the left of Emma's head, behind the wing.
I love me some Mad Jim Jaspers.
Oh, we're definitely getting more of that. Dude, this has me stoked, man. I love everything about this patch. I mean, we don't even know what Gene and Scott are doing here with these mutants behind them, although that's probably, you know, alluding to him doing his own team again outside of the reign of government. Who knows? But, man, there's a lot of promise there, and I am here for every damn bit of it. Holy crap. You want me to keep that up? Anything else? I mean, it's rad, dude.
I mean, there's a bunch, like, I don't know who that is next to Arcade with, like, the glowy face.
Now, isn't that the dude from Wakanda? Wasn't there a Wakandan mutant who was kind of...
I don't know.
I don't remember it either, dude. I don't know. That's rad, though.
Yeah.
Legion alone hiding out over here. Oh, it's so good. All right, yeah, there it is. So, yeah, that's all of our... Man, it's going to... It's a bit bittersweet, you know, to be at the end of Ten of Swords, but
yeah,
finally I don't have to buy every book.
I'm still buying every book, and there's the Children of the Atom comes out soon,
I guess. Yeah.
Children of the Atom comes out soon too.
They got you hooked.
That's a mini, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, let's do top 3. I'll go first since my number 3 book is X-Men Ten of Swords Destruction. It's just a good ending, fun action comic, a lot of questions answered and a lot of answers a lot of questions presented. So, yeah, it was cool. But for honorable mention, Daredevil number 24, Chip Zdarsky and Mike Hawthorne. A bit of fun judicial drama as Daredevil secures the safety of Hell's Kitchen by having it bought by better people. No thanks to Iron Man. But then he literally pleads guilty to second-degree manslaughter. There's another issue of Daredevil next week as they barrel towards King in Black tie-ins. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow night on the preview.
Does Daredevil need to tie into King in Black? Does
no,
he?
Everybody needs to tie into King in Black, but everybody is. I also wanted to mention Suicide
What the fuck is Daredevil supposed to do against a goddamn cosmic symbiote god?
I don't know, man.
Beat him with a stick.
Is he going to be in prison? Because that's what happens when you plead guilty to second-degree manslaughter.
Whatever. Not every character needs to be involved in the big cosmic muckety-muck stuff.
They do, though. You know they're going to. I agree with you. Suicide Squad number 11, Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo. It stuck the landing. There is no more Suicide Squad, and I need a Revolutionaries book. Hopefully in the March solicits, we get a damn Revolutionaries book from Tom Taylor. This is a cool team. 11 issues to this run. I suggest everybody read it. I can't recommend it enough. A whole lot of fun. Cool. Number 3 is Destruction. Who's next? Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I got a couple honorable mentions. My first one would be Scumbag number 2 from Image Comics. Rick Remender. You know, it's basically this whole issue.
I should have grabbed the suitcase full of drugs. Page.
Yeah. This whole book is a satire where
put it in me.
Basically, where the worst guy in the world now has superpowers, and they're trying to. He's now in this whole super spy plot to try to stop this bomb. You know,
I love it because they try to activate his powers. He needs to think of somebody he cares about, and all he can think about is his drug dealer
who tried to kill him earlier.
In the comic series. Yeah.
It's got some good humor in it. I will say that I think that a lot of the humor probably would have worked better maybe a year or two ago. But that said, you know, I still enjoy it for what it is. Then my other honorable mention would be Justice League Dark number 28. This is kind of the end of the whole story arc. I think the book's still going on even after Future State or whatever, because they do sort of have a hook in here for another story arc.
Maybe
but
they're getting a December finale.
Maybe, I don't know. But this issue, they finally beat the Upside Down Man. They beat him kind of quickly in the issue, and most of the issue is just a kind of an epilogue where you kind of leave off on all the characters where they go off and whatnot.
Well, that sounds like an ending.
Yeah, it's basically an ending, but I still think that the book is going to go forward because they did leave a last page sting of a new villain showing up.
Oh, fun!
That's not the
it?
Endless Wonder guy.
Who was it?
I have no idea.
Oh, some new dude.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We'll
see him in the future.
But my actual number 3 book is going to be Excalibur number 15. I like me some Captain Britain Corps. I love them showing up again.
Okay. Well, that ties in pretty well with my honorable mention is going to be Excalibur number 15. I enjoyed the story overall, but admittedly, most of the Captain Britain stuff was kind of lost on me. I'm not really steeped in that lore too well. Yeah. But basically, every one of the X books that came out this week was like one big issue in a sense. And yeah, this one was... I enjoyed the thing overall. This was my least favorite part of, I guess, the whole thing, because it was kind of like the middle part. So yeah, that's my honorable mention, which means that my number 3 then is actually going to be X of Swords Destruction, or sorry, Ten of Swords Destruction.
Kiss of Swords.
Why did you start saying that?
Because it's just funny. I said it after it took the turn. After it took the turn to terrible, I started calling it Kiss of Swords because that's next. The kissing contest, right, is going to be next.
It already happened.
Yeah, we missed it. Krakoa lost.
Do not. Ten of Swords. Anyway, Ten of Swords Destruction is going to be my number 3 pick. I did enjoy all the chaos of the battle, right? I definitely enjoyed Pepe's art on the giant fucking dune monsters and the Cthulhu beards and all that stuff. I enjoyed his reality-eating things from the peak coming out and like joining the fight. I enjoyed like the stream of X-Men coming down to save the day. It was a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of great spectacle.
Man, I wonder how they work on those scripts. You know what I mean? Like, does Hickman just say, "Man, just draw a bunch of cool Cthulhu monsters"? And he's like, "All right, man, yeah."
Dude, that is the
like this for a while.
Just go ape on some like weird monsters and have fun with it. But
throw Dupe and Gwenpool in there too.
Yeah. I didn't quite get what the hell Saturnine was doing with Annihilation at the end, which is the main thing that holds this one back for him. But that's a pretty minor mark on an issue I overall enjoyed quite a lot. I thought it was a pretty cool conclusion to the event.
Good job. Good book. That was my number 3 as well. David.
Honorable mention is a new book from Source Point Press called Black of Heart. It's like a 1950s crime noir set in New York City. It has it's these detectives on the trail of a serial killer who is killing women. He's already killed several women. He mutilates the bodies and leaves them to be found. So the detectives are hot on this trail. Hot on the trail. The artwork is kind of reminiscent of like Simon Bisley.
Oh, okay.
It's
nice.
Not as detailed, but it's very impressionistic. And the use of color, it's black and white with the use of color similar to Black Magic.
Just a hints of color.
Little hints of color, like the blood, the color of the eyeballs, just little things here and there. The cab, the serial killer drives a cab apparently. So is yellow. It's a very awesome book.
Sorry. Go
ahead. Written by Christopher Carlton and with art by David Hollenbach. New book. Definitely interested in seeing what goes on in issue 2. My number 3 pick is also a number 1 from a publisher that I'm new to. It's called The Red.
Oh.
I believe
it's a heavy metal book.
Yeah. It's from the Virus imprint. I've been trying to figure out this heavy metal publishing comic stuff here. You follow Twitters on there, and it takes you not to like the heavy metal book, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Because
I'm following Slipknot and Anthrax.
Yeah, well, I was gonna tag him in a tweet,
Yeah.
and that's what I was
Corey from
tracking.
Slipknot's DMing me. Go ahead,
Ah,
I'm sorry. Number 3.
but
The Red.
the Red. Basically, the story, the premise is kind of like a mix of Blade Runner, with a hint of Terminator and some Fallout in it. The world suffered a nuclear war, World War III. An algorithm, a computer AI with an algorithm, basically said that this was going to happen. And when the world is rebuilt, the computer program AI is in charge of the rebuilding effort and has determined that there is content in the world that makes humans emotional. It's called the Red, and red content is banned. And to help keep humans on an emotional even keel, they have a drug that they have to take. And it's the citizens. It's like got this Judge Dredd Mega City 1 kind of vibe to it. They have to take, to be a citizen in the city, you have to take these drugs to keep you emotionally balanced. And it's like Ritalin, some kind of super Ritalin. Yeah. But the story talks about these people who make red content, and they have like a very rebellious nature to them. They kind of try to keep under the radar of the AI algorithm.
Sounds like a take on censorship.
Yeah, there's that on there. There's a lot of different stories kind of going on in this book. There's a mysterious character who shows up to the city. But I think it's all coming together to form what is looking like a really interesting story. Artwork is great. It's kind of reminiscent of like a Gotham Academy, a Becky Cloonan.
Oh wow,
that's the kind of that kind of artwork. It kind of rings that bell for me. But that's my number 3, and it's a big book. It's really thick. The only other thing I would like to note about it is this book had a lot of static electricity because the pages were stuck together for some reason. Power. It was. I've never encountered that before, so I thought that was worth noting.
My number 2, The Department of Truth, number 3, by James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons. All right.
I cannot get this book.
I have to explain. I gave everybody in here this book today.
I know, but I already had my top 3 done.
This series is about, you have to understand this premise. The series is about a secret government agency that sort of polices conspiracy theories, as in this series, if enough people believe a thing, the thing actually becomes reality.
So it's a tulpa.
It's a tulpa. They actually mentioned to have that word in here. It's an odd premise, but it makes for some compelling storytelling. And there's this counter organization that's trying to manipulate reality and society using this same phenomenon. Okay. So the first 2 issues, the first one was kind of like, flat Earth and aliens. And the second one was kind of like the 80s scare and things like that. JFK in there a little bit.
Or the
satanic scare. Yeah, the panic. This is all about Alex Jones. School shootings, false flags, crisis actors, and it revolves around a mother who lost her son, and this counter organization is trying to trick her into believing this fringe bullshit. If she comes out as one of these believers, then she's going to convince a lot of other people too. So this counter organization has just been screwing with her through the internet, the way they do. And they show this doctored video of her in front of like a casting director with her son practicing the lines, just screwing with her. And then our agents, have to break in and steal this. But it was very powerful. And I got some of the art, man. It's just amazing art. I mean,
that does sound very timely. Yeah.
Look, I know, right? Look at this, dude. It's just so powerful. It's like, I mean, Alex Jones got sued for the shit that he did, the shit that he said about a school shooting.
Sued. He's still under lawsuit.
Exactly. So it's very powerful to communicate. It's a very difficult thing to communicate relevantly, respectfully, and with the amount of power, such a touchy subject. And Tynion and Simmons just nail it, dude. This is her finding, the video and watching it, and then it's almost like she believes that, yes, I am a crisis actor. And this is the Tiny In book right now. I'm sorry. It's just fantastic, dude. I can't get enough of it. So very poignant, very important, and I loved it. It's called The Department of Truth, Image Comics.
Gonna have to check it out, man.
Oh,
I know you
man,
gave it to us.
I know,
so
but
good.
I'd already, like I said, picked my top 3. So, but I
ahead.
really want to get my hands on this book.
It's great, dude.
I mean, check the chat, man.
Oh, is someone in the chat?
I did.
Oh.
It's just
Well, I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah,
for
check
David
chat.
to
Check
check the
our
fucking
chat.
chat.
I
Yeah.
had checked the
Pay
chat.
attention. Pay
The
attention.
getting your hands on it step has already been completed.
I mean,
put it
physically
in
get
your
my
hand.
hands on this book
I put it in your hand.
Whatever.
in my
Alright.
collection in a box, so it
Go
can be
ahead,
graded
Adam.
at some point in the future.
I think the
Okay,
first book is
whatever.
already getting a second printing. It's the first
Yes.
issue. So go ahead, Adam. Numero 2.
My second pick this week is Destruction.
Nice.
Great spectacle. I like where it leaves the X-Men off. It has a lot of great directions that they can go off into. And it was also it was a solid capstone to an event.
I was entertained, man.
I was entertained. I was never not entertained by any issue that I read in this event.
Yeah.
And it's not just that; it's the directions that Hickman has sort of taken. Otherworld, all of the Mad Jim Jaspers, all of these weird places. He doesn't have to bring those in, but he is Sword. Sword's ridiculous. He's bringing it in.
Hickman loves that shit. So yeah, he was always
exactly. Yep, 100%, 100%. So that was easy. Taylor, number 2.
My number 2 is going to be X-Men. What issue were we on? 15?
15.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, X-Men number 15. Mostly because I really enjoyed Cyclops' big damn hero speech which was kind of the centerpiece of this issue. Yeah. I like Hickman's political intrigue that he's doing with the Quiet Council. I like that, we still have these characters who we're used to seeing, like, going off and doing heroic superhero stuff, kind of bursting into that role again, in a rather cool fashion. So I definitely enjoyed all of that. And while the fight between Apocalypse and Genesis maybe was a little anticlimactic, because why the fuck are these mutants just hitting each other with a sword? This could have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
But
no,
it wasn't bad though.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was still a lot of fun.
Your powers through the swords.
My favorite
Yeah, we
part
only
of
got to
it.
see Genesis use her powers in that one flashback that one time. Kind of anticlimactic. But
Apocalypse doesn't really use and do anything either, so I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
Apocalypse has like a billion superpowers.
Yeah, right.
Ever since Dawn of X started, it's mostly just been I'm a big, tough, strong guy.
I'm old as hell. I'm old as hell.
I just don't die.
Yeah. My favorite part of this is after Cyclops' speech, even though Xavier and Magneto don't really agree with him, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
Way to go.
They're both like,
boy.
you kill us, Cyclops. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We should eat shit. Good job, man.
Exactly. But it also shows how complicated the politics actually are.
It is. And I like that, like, they handled that in a bit. They weren't just like presenting this as like, you stupid old fogies don't get what the kids
okay,
do.
boomer.
Yeah, I like that Cyclops is like, I get your position. I really do, but I got to do this anyway.
Yeah.
And I like, like you were saying with Xavier and Magneto, I like that they were like, well, our position can't change because so much is riding on this, but damn, it's cool to see you doing this, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you got your balls back, Scott.
Yeah.
And
you go ahead and do this, and we'll disavow any knowledge.
Yeah. Hickman's really captured all of the voices of these characters, and the banter, the dialogue is really quick.
Dialogue is very snappy.
Even though Shaw was being a dick here, he did a really good job kind of getting off his like Ponzi Politico mentality that Shaw has, while also making it where like he has a point. Like, he's not talking total shit here when he's saying these things.
Gene comes in and is like, oh, my kid's in trouble. Oh, and by the way, Krakoa's in deep shit. And Shaw's like, well, maybe you should have started with that instead of talking about your own personal issues.
Yeah.
And then he evolved
kind of
that.
buried the lead there, Gene.
Yeah, and then he evolves that into saying, well, if you're going to go for Cable, then you can't really be here on the council,
And he has a point.
He has
a point. He's being
a
dick, but he does have a pretty solid point.
He's also making a political move. I don't want you on the council, Jean Grey. I don't agree with you any of the time. So, I haven't seen.
I like the
political
thing with like
moves.
Sinister and Exodus too, where it's like,
Yeah.
hey Exodus, why don't you say it? You're good at using small words that these guys
Yes,
understand.
yes. I haven't seen political intrigue like this since laugh if you want.
Yeah.
Transformers.
And like,
It's
I
true.
know
Starscream, man.
it
I'm with
wasn't
that.
on display much in this issue, but I still fucking love Jonathan Hickman's take on Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah,
But
wonderful.
Anyway, so that's my number 2.
Awesome, David. Number
My number 2.
two. Take a
is-
number 2 on us, David.
All right, I
God
will.
damn
I'll be
it,
back in a minute. All righty. New one from the Vault imprint Nightfall is I Walk with Monsters.
This has potential, bro.
Yes, it's I don't know if you would remember this series or not. It's called like Werewolf, the TV series. It's like from the like late 80s,
No.
where a guy was bitten by a werewolf, and the only way to stop the werewolf bloodline is to find the originator of that bloodline and kill it. Then it would like cure his. This series has some feelings like that. I don't think it necessarily
It's got other layers though, bro.
other layers to it. Definitely. But we are introduced to a young girl, or I'm not sure how
she's
old
pretty
she is,
young.
but
She
she's
seems
pretty
like a
young,
teenage girl.
named JC. And the introduction to it is she's like tied up in like a barn or something, and she's just basically bad mouthing the serial killer. Like,
This kidnapper. Yeah, this kidnapper.
The guy's got a knife, and he's like, "Oh, you're pristine," and she's just like, "You probably got that out of a book." It's like probably didn't use that on the first girl you killed.
Yeah, she's
It's
like
just-
breaking him down, sort of like Jodie Foster.
She keeps him busy for a second, and then her partner shows up, and with him, and he's the best way I could. He's a monster. But have you ever seen like Hellsing Unlimited or Ultimate Hellsing?
You're bringing up all these freaking. I know.
I've seen
no
Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, so
no one has seen your lame TV shows.
Okay,
man.
but it's
Hellsing Ultimate Abridged is funny as hell, but
abridged, but it's that the wolf form of Alucard with all the eyeballs. It looks like that, but
they didn't show him really that close up.
It was like half a page.
No, but he was only in the top corner of the page. It really was showing the fear of the serial killer on there.
Well,
anyway, that's their shtick,
I think he's a monster, and this monster has a human form, and the human form calls himself David, and they're traveling the country. And JC's got some vendetta against somebody that she can't remember the name. There's flashbacks. We kind of get an idea who the guy is she's looking for, and I think eventually she's going to find the guy, but right now they're on their way to track down what's happened to a girl in Indiana.
It's basically Supernatural meets a trucking park, like a rest stop rift.
Yeah.
You have the hot girl pretend to be, into the guy. They go to some place, and then the other guy, the actual homeboy of the girl, shows up and takes care of the guy. But they're doing it to kidnappers and child molesters. But there's also this flashback to when she was young
on a farm,
where she herself was living with what appears to be a human trafficker who trafficking children.
Yeah, the flashbacks give this big old burly guy who basically, is taking care of foster kids, and a kid disappears.
But selling them.
And her brother is one of these victims of this trafficker character. Yeah. And it's sold to a politician, and she can't remember the name of the politician, but we as the readers are kind of know who the politician is.
Yeah.
But I love the artwork, and I love the pacing of this book. I really felt that this was a good, strong start to what is going to probably be one of the better series to finish out the year with.
We'll see. There's a lot of potential here. It meandered a little bit. It had a lot to say, which took away a little bit from really engaging with the characters, but it was good. Good choice. Man, my number 1. I got a lot here for this one, y'all. The Other History of the DC Universe, number 1. John Ridley, Giuseppe Camicoli, Andrea Gucci. This is a deep dive, yes, into the history of the DC universe. But it's from a very distinct viewpoint, that of Black Lightning. And it's a unique comic book, but quite effective and important within its own context. And here, I'll explain a little bit more. Okay. We follow Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning, through what is basically the history of the DC universe from his individual perspective. So yes, it deals with superhero history and all that, but it also examines the inherent difficulties of being a street-level superhero and an inner-city school teacher, as well as the implications of all of that on the man. While that in and of itself is sort of a unique approach, the comic book story, the creative approach, is just as unique. Here's one example. This is sort of a page, and all of it's like this. The whole book is like just written in prose like this with the art around it. All from sort of a journal perspective, like it's him writing a journal. But this is when he's estranged from his family. And you'll notice the subtle hints of the window reflection where he's shadowed out up there, right? So it's really using a lot of visual cues in the art, but it's also using visual cues that are inherently DC associative, like this. This is talking about the decade of the 80s. And it's Reagan, but that's also Watchmen.
Yeah.
The button from Watchmen. So there's tons of that, dude. There's like the Justice League emblem, and it's inset. So the negative space of that, I guess it would be the positive space of that, the Justice League is walking away. Because, all right, some of my favorite parts of this are using that perspective. He calls the heroes out as impotent, as they did nothing to stop drug dealers on the streets the way he does, but also impotent in the fact that they didn't take a side in the Iran hostage affair. They didn't jump into action there. And Batman gets called the Dark Knight. He was called the Black Menace because of the racial overtones, even though they were doing the same exact thing. And that's done super well with the artistry involved. He calls out Superman's white privilege in this at one point. Batman's masochistic self-torture. He basically calls out the entire Justice League for not actually having a true sense of heroism, more the fact that they're being driven by the desire to rectify pain and failure in their own city. And at the beginning of the book, he's looking down on that, but he sort of comes to terms with it as he himself grows into being a hero. This follows all the way up from the 70s up to 1995. And man, it's genius, dude.
It totally sounds like I picked up the wrong $7 book from DC this
genius,
week.
Dude.
What $7 book did you pick up from DC?
That Multiverse Who Laughs. Yeah, that book sucked.
It was terrible. It had the super pets in it. It was garbage.
That was the first legit terrible death metal book.
Yeah. But this book by writer John Ridley, who wrote 12 Years a Slave and a few other things. I'm not even sure. I should have had that in my notes. But he wrote a unique comic book that shouldn't have been good because of the way it was delivered with all the prose. This is like reading a novel. There was a lot of words in this. You know, it could turn off a lot of readers. But yeah. Man, he's just thoughtful with it in his approach, and the artist is spot on with delivering it's almost as though he delivers the emotion of what is being said with the words instead of actually having it sequential. Man, it's genius, dude. This might be the single best issue of the year, best standalone issue, easily. Man, it was so good. I was blown away when I finished it. I couldn't believe how good it was.
So you going to buy that $10 Batman book he's doing?
I don't know yet, man. I might buy everything he gets just to support the guy because I want to read more of what he's doing. This was wonderful. It shouldn't have been this good. But yeah, that's my number one book. The Other History of the DC Universe. And I hope they do more of these. They stopped at 1995, which was sort of...
It's supposed to be a mini,
Crisis.
Isn't it?
Sort of, I don't know.
I think it's a mini. I think there's like 5 issues or something.
Oh, I'm excited then. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It was dope. It was really dope.
Yeah.
Adam, number 2.
Yeah.
Number one. Sorry.
My number 1 was X-Men number 15.
Man, you guys are lazy this week.
Pretty much. Man, but hey, this was a legit great issue. I
It
like me
was.
some Hickman political thriller going on. I liked Cyclops getting his balls back. I love Mr. Sinister just being sinister off the corner. This is Hickman. This is Hickman at his best.
I agree. No argument there. It's a great book. All the X books were great this week, even though I can say bad things about them, and only one of them.
You can say bad things about any book.
Exactly.
But either way.
Taylor.
My number one's actually going to be Power Pack number 1.
Oh, I read this too. It was pretty damn good.
It was fun.
Yes.
Is that by Ryan North? Isn't that the?
Yeah,
it's
and the Nico Leone.
The reason why I picked this up was because I was a big fan of Ryan North's Unbeatable Squirrel Girl back when that was still coming out. So I'm like, oh, hey, this is his new book. I'll try it out.
It had like a repeating issue.
It's
number
the same
one.
team. It's the same creative team, isn't it? Nico Leone
Nico Leone was Erica Henderson was the main person on Squirrel Girl.
That's right.
But Nico Leone did some great artwork on this. I especially enjoyed the opening pages where it's the youngest member, Katie Power, basically doing like a child's comic book version of their origin story, complete with childish dialogue like, man, we're evil, shit like that.
But then it gets deep right after that. She's like, this is the story where I'm going to give to so we can out ourselves as superheroes to our parents. And the older brother and sister are like, nah, that's not a good idea. That deal, I like this as a spin-off to the whole outlawed thing because by the end, they go to do some crime stopping and they get caught.
But
their parents are going to get in trouble, bro.
This is just a good old fun issue,
Yeah.
I like the dynamic that the siblings have. I think that the adult ones are like written well, and I think the young ones are written well, and like they're very distinct from each other considering their age brackets.
Yeah.
They are really great from beginning to end. And at the end of the issue, they tie it in with the outlawed thing where like they stop this bad guy. We're in the midst of stopping the boogeyman, and now the cops are there.
What's the actual guy's name? Boogeyman.
Yeah,
love Boogeyman.
The cops came in to bust all of them because they are unauthorized vigilantes and all that.
Underage vigilantes.
Yeah.
So
this was just fun. I like to read a fun comic every now and then. One thing that does bother me though is like I didn't realize that their identities were supposed to be secret. None of them wear masks. I don't understand how their parents don't already know that they're.
I don't know how that works.
Kids,
I don't know how that works either.
It's not enough of an issue to like ruin it for me though. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't expect my kids to be like, even if I saw the Power Pack on there, it'd be like, yeah, my kid's lazy as hell. That ain't my kid. He's out there kicking.
But if it was 4 for 4,
yeah, you're right.
That they all looked like your
these
kids.
These are the worst parents ever. You're right. Cradle deserves to take these kids away.
They call themselves the Power Pack, and your last name is Power.
This was a terrible pick. You talked me out of it. This was a terrible pick on your part.
Well, hopefully all the stuff I said before weighs more heavily in your mind.
I really liked it as an outlaw tie-in. And you're right. It was just fun. David, numero uno.
Oh, we already covered this in Adam's honorable mentions. I really dug Scumbag number 2 this week.
Nice.
It was from beginning to end, just a fun adventure. I really.
It was definitely funny.
It takes like all of them, like some of them 80s tropes. Like it has like an evil organization that's just like Cobra. And
it's like Cobra, except instead of snakes, it's all scorpion.
Scorpianus or whatever. And he's like Scorpianus?
But they're trying to make the world a better place, and they're just doing it the wrong way. And
they have an alchemy bomb. They're going to blow it up and flood the world with gold.
Yes, to crash the economy.
They have a device where they're able
That's a Cobra Commander move, bro.
That is a Cobra Commander move. They have like...
There's a Weather Dominator-esque.
Yes, that is a Pyramid of Darkness style.
They have a device where they're able to transfer your mind into the mind of a dying Honduran immigrant somewhere in the desert somewhere.
Oh, that was so whack,
was
dude.
fun.
That was so weird. I was like, man, that was Remender, you're demented, bro. What are you doing?
But it's just this Earl Ray Clementine is just like the worst character to be like the world's savior, and it is so funny. It is bad.
But man,
He's
how about
awful.
like their Scorpionus commander or whatever? How about his speech, his anti-SJW speech? It was so. It had every snowflake.
It did. He said snowflake multiple times.
You could think of, dude. It was so over the top.
It was great.
And the best part of it, Scumbag goes to this meeting because he thinks the Scorpions are reuniting for a concert. And not Scorpions. Dude, yeah, this book is whack. Remender's having such a good time with it.
I just love that whole interaction between him and one of them troopers, where he's in his biker outfit, and he's got scorpions on it, and the trooper's like, "Oh, you're one of us."
It reminded me of the Dragnet movie where Aykroyd and
they go to that pagan ritual at the drive-in.
Pagan ritual. He grabs the pills, dude, and the briefcase full of drugs is just.
That is.
I
love
the briefcase full of drugs.
I do like that whole. You explained it earlier. The whole how he's supposed to use his powers, like he has X-ray vision, and he thinks of like his drug dealing party buddy.
Yeah, in order for it to work, you have to think of the person you care about most in the world, and that's who he thinks about is drug dealer.
Larry,
a drug dealer who tried to kill him earlier.
Yeah,
and then there was like, I don't know what this was, but it's like a littler version.
Right.
Some bag shows up and is like telling him, you don't get with this girl. This whole the antiverse.
No, he said don't go to the moon.
Isn't
that what he said? Don't go.
There's
to the
a lot
moon.
going on in this movie.
There's a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
It felt like a movie.
Yeah, it was a great issue, man. And yeah, I'm on board, dude. The art's crazy good too, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, Robinson.
It's great.
The art reminds me of like old like t-shirts from the 80s. You know, it's like old character t-shirts from the 80s, like those, the Speed Demon guy who's doing that sort of style art. Anyway, that's it. That's all the stuff we got.
The Crumb
yeah, kind of Crumb.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot more stylized, a lot more modern, more up to date. But
I have to admit that some of these books that have been coming out later in the year are actually been some pretty good ones. If we're going to do like a year review,
on them all year. Folks been sitting on them all year.
Oh yeah, but
waiting.
This and Firepower. I mean, Image is really killing it.
I'm almost done with Firepower.
I love Firepower. It is great.
Die is so much better.
Die is very good.
So much better. Anyway, that's a wrap for this episode, peeps. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Tell your friends, tell your pals, tell everybody you know, share the show out. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, go to those other two platforms, search for Outright Geekery, follow us there. We would really appreciate that. You can also go to patreon.com/Outright Geekery and give us $1 if you want. That'd be cool.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. We don't want much, just a little bit, but we have a whole lot of other stuff going on in addition to this regular Sunday night news and review show. We have this Geek and Comics previews every Monday where we talk about all the new books coming out later that week. Probably my favorite show of the week. Just so much fun. No offense, Taylor or David. David don't show up for that either.
Well, I can't.
I don't have to do any prep work for that.
No,
I
not
have
really.
to open up web pages and show up. So it's easy.
Scroll.
I'm lazy as hell. Also, check out our monthly Geekterion collection where we just go in depth into a movie. We're doing Gremlins in December. Also, look for Top 5. That's our irregular list show where we typically team up with the Comic Book Bullies for that, for just talking about a certain subject. Top 5 original graphic novels or trade paperbacks is coming up next whenever we decide to do it. It'll be in 2020. I promise you that.
Well, you're running out of time.
Make that promise. I shouldn't make that shitty promise. But yeah, we're gonna do that. Also, we have
checks that we can't cash there. Going.
Yeah, no shit. We also have our regular shows on the Outright Geekery Facebook and YouTube with the Comic Book Bullies hanging out every week. We have Big Willie and Thomas doing OK Boomer, where they review an old book, usually a Golden or Silver Age book. They also do in 5-minute reviews, Creators Outlet. David Pipos is going to be on Friday on that. So
cool.
He's got a new book coming out. He's just got the OZ. I think it's called the OZ.
He did that Calvin and Hobbes takeoff.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Spencer and Locke.
Yeah, Spencer and Locke. That was rad. He actually won an award for that.
Didn't he also do the Chapel book?
Yeah, he said going to the chapel, which was very fun.
Most importantly, he called into the older podcast that we did back in the comic shop.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys
Totally
talked
did.
to him
Yes,
on,
we did.
on Geeks of the Square Table, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We did. Yeah.
He did. He did a Kermit the Frog impression, and I wish he hadn't. But
I've interviewed him on Comic Cast with those guys last year. Yeah, he's a great guy, dude. He's really cool.
He was cool. He used to write Nick Cage story. So
he used to write for CBR. He used to be like their review editor at CBR.
Cool.
I think it was CBR or one of those websites. But yeah, he's going to be on there Friday. Check that out. He's going to be talking about a new book he's got coming out. I don't remember the name of it, but he just did a book called
Scout's Honor.
Yes, Scout's Honor. Damn, David, you sliding with the news. That's like a post-apocalyptic Boy Scout thing. I think.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's been a while since I looked at the.
Tune in Friday. You can hear more about it. He's just coming off a successful Kickstarter for the OZ, which is like a twist on a post-apocalyptic Wizard of Oz, which is it's going to he sure does
enjoy injecting a lot of grit into these otherwise
it's
wholesome
2020.
franchises.
It's 2020. You know, you got to digest what you're fed. You know. But yeah, check out all of those shows. We are so busy over here doing all kinds of awesome, and we're going to do it again. Well, first I want to thank you, Jokers, for hanging out with this Joker and hanging out. Oh, don't let us bore you, Taylor. Jeez. Past your bedtime late on a Sunday?
A little bit.
But yeah, thanks, Jokers, for hanging out with me. We're going to do it again next time.
Saying Geek Time, saying Geek Channel. I got that one in there under the book.
You did. I'm a little weak on the button. Trigger happy on the button.
Trigger happy.
Don't blame me.